It's Wednesday, me dudes.
Me dudes?
Is that the meme? Is that the thing, or is it even the right day?
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well,
Well.
I guess this is DOA. This is just a garbage bag in the middle of the. That goes great. I think they specifically chose a scene that had a garbage bag in it, just to.
that like black spot on the left.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that until right now.
Yeah, like they just use this one. It looks like kind of looks just kind of shit. This is reality. Here we go. I stare out the window as we roll down the dusty streets of Echo. You thought we could escape this cringe by going to another route? It's time for the birthday again. Every road, every corner, every trailer, and every tree has a memory attached to it. There, in the middle of the dusty parking lot that belonged to the corner market, is a tiny stand. That used to be where I'd get ice cream after begging for $1 from my parents. It's crumbled and boarded up now, the paint peeling off in tiny chips. And there, in front of Duke's house, is a big flat rock that Jenna was standing on when she told me she was going to run away from home.
Oh.
I can still remember almost exactly how she was silhouetted against the red sunset behind her. And the old train yard where, in the middle of summer, Leo kissed me for the first time while I was sweating buckets into the noon sun. We saw that.
We did see that.
He didn't seem to care, though.
Yeah, remember we talked about how like self-conscious we were about how like gross and sweaty we were because we hadn't like taken a shower because of a whole bunch of stuff that happened.
And we bled on ourselves again, but we really just seemed to bleed around Leo, honestly.
Uh-oh. That's not
That's not a good trend.
That's not good for us.
I look over at Leo. He's got one hand on the wheel, glancing up at the rearview mirror occasionally to trade jabs with Flynn, who we inexplicably keep letting back in.
Yeah, why?
It seems different this time, except regret not letting him know we're coming. You know, you'll be lucky if he even gets his ass out of bed. We'll call him then. And what if he doesn't answer? Leah doesn't say anything, instead focusing back on the road. TJ fills the silence after a while. Well, I don't think it's too weird. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that.
He, last time we woke him up to answer the door, so I wonder if he's not going to answer the door at all this time.
Sure, but making it about Carl is just weird. Maybe if his birthday was like next week. 2 weeks tops.
Oh, hush, Flynn. It'll just be like we're hanging out. You acting weird about it isn't going to help anything.
The car starts slowing down, and I snap out of my daydreaming to look up, knowing that we definitely weren't at Carl's house yet. That's when I see a round canine figure standing further up the side of the road.
We're going to see the waitress.
Oh, right, because it happened on the way.
Yep.
She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of a broken and rusted barbed wire fence. I think that's Janice. I look over at Leo and he seems concerned. His brows furrowed as he continues to, as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, elbows on her knees, staring at the ground. Roll down your window, Chase. I do as he says, struggling a little with the old crank handle.
Oh man, I remember those.
There's always the part of the rotation that's just too close to you, so it's like, you just like...
You bumping your elbows up against something.
Yeah, there's never room to actually make it work. The hell is she doing out here? We come to a stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust. I don't know. Hey. Leo leans over me and smiles out at Janice, who's still looking at the ground. Everything all... Leo's voice cuts off in a weird choking sound. I look at him, confused, then look back out the window, and I can't help myself, but I gasp. It was hard to tell from the angle, and all the dust kicked up from the van, but now I can see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly and avert my eyes, looking out the windshield instead. What the fuck?
Oh my god. Leo, let's keep going.
Jenna whispers it, her voice strained. Oh, sorry, Leo stops talking and I chance a glance out the window again. Janice is looking at us now and she's smiling. It's a weird smile because it isn't touching her eyes. It's unnerving.
Touching her eyes.
It's when
Oh, her eyes are basically like look like she's static, and she has a smile, but her eyes are not like crinkled or like in any way. Like,
yeah, it's a mouth only smile, like a fake one or something.
That is creepy.
Leo stares back. Leo, let's just go. I hiss it out the side of my mouth, staring out the windshield again. He seems reluctant too, though. Looking concerned. Janice, do you need some help? His tone is one you might use on a toddler or a crazy person. I don't hear her say anything, except maybe a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though. We can give you a Leo stops talking in time to hear a pattering sound, a sound I recognize well from my time as a kid pissing on the dirt roads of Echo. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smoother acceleration back onto the empty road. Holy shit, what the fuck was that? I don't... Leo's frowning, looking as confused as I've ever seen him. Should I go back? No! I look back and see TJ covering his face.
I've never seen a naked lady before.
Because of all the gay porn I look at.
Well, except for that one superhero he's in love with. Maybe she could be having some kind of psychotic episode.
Or maybe she just had to piss.
See, that's what that's what I was gonna say is like, maybe she just has to piss, right? But it's definitely not true because I get the impression this is a flat terrain where if you saw a car pulling up, you'd probably see it from far away. And what are you doing out in the middle of nowhere anyway? Just walking around? What are you doing?
There's questions of like, why are you there of all places?
Why right next to the road? Go further in a little bit if you really, really have to. Like there's like
I'm kind of wondering if she's hallucinating and she like thinks she's peeing somewhere that makes sense.
Yeah, like a toilet.
Yeah.
But then also no.
But and her eyes are glazed or whatever because she's not actually seeing this.
She isn't registering that they're there. But also, if someone's peeing on the side of the road and a car pulls up, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just really had to pee. I'm really sorry. I'm not just being weird." You definitely try to like justify it or cover yourself or be like, "Oh God, like I'm really sorry."
I wonder if whatever's going on with people's minds here or whatever's affecting them. I'm wondering if people who use drugs like fall into it faster. Like if they put themselves in an altered state of mind, then they're just like getting a head start essentially on what this week's about to be.
Well, I mean,
and that maybe is why that guy was like, why Duke was after us, and then he was dead somehow.
It's one of those things where maybe you might be more accepting of it because you're already used to having like an altered mind state with things, so you're not like as reluctant in like the same way that like if you do like mushrooms for the first time you fight it a bit, but if you've done them like 10 times you just like
it just feels like because like this town has like a drug problem, but also like everybody's like nobody has a very strong reaction to the thing for a while in the main party, and we don't have any evidence that anyone's doing that much except Carl, who smokes, and he gets possessed. Like he's getting possessed over the course of the week a bit, and then the other one we know is that Chase has night terrors, and his night terrors seem to be less random than they would normally be because they seem related to what's happening. But
they imply in the last, like I think it's just that's coincidental. In the last one, they imply that Janice doing this was very unusual for her because they knew her.
Yeah, I
don't get the impression that she was a person who they recognize as being a person that does drugs.
Maybe.
Like, I think she just was like when we first heard this story, my reaction was like, oh, she is tweaking out. But that's because I didn't know the context of the mass psychosis yet. I get the impression that the reason it was so surprising for them was because she was like an upstanding citizen. She just worked at the diner. She's like a nice lady. I don't think she's a person that uses drugs.
Maybe something's in the water.
Maybe Duke.
Maybe it's the diner. The diner's getting people.
Oh, maybe. We do go to the diner.
Yeah. The night before everything goes bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Did we? I don't even remember if we ate anything at the diner.
Well, we had water. There was a condensation on our glasses.
Oh my god.
That was like a thing that was like noted about. So we must have drank water or something.
Oh god. We do notably go to the diner right beforehand. Did I just crack this all wide open? This is the diner's an Indian burial ground.
Let's see if the diner comes up again in this story, and if it does, before we all freak out, it might be what it is.
Yeah.
Because we have to go to the diner.
It's a very goofy Scooby-Doo solution that I pulled out of my ass.
Well, you ever seen Cabin Fever?
I think so.
I love that movie.
I've also seen Shrooms.
Is that...
It's a horror movie where mushrooms make people kill each other.
Oh, that's pretty
or
cool.
Or something.
No, Cabin Fever, it's like, it's the water. Like, it's the reveal. It's like, oh, it's the water. But, Cabin Fever is great. I highly recommend. The old one, though, not the new one. Don't watch the remake. Never watch the remake of anything, ever.
Except The Thing.
Except for Suicide Squad.
Yeah, The Thing and Suicide Squad. And probably something else, but meh.
Yeah, whatever. It's few and far between.
For those that don't know, the John Carpenter movie is a remake. The Thing that you think of as being the original is actually a remake.
It's probably good that you clarified that.
That's what I mean.
Because you're going to get vilified in the fucking comments for saying that shit.
The remake of... Because
it did get remade again.
The reboot remakes prequel thing is fine. No one told me it had Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it, which is a significant increase to how good the movie is.
I forgot that she was in that because I watched it so fucking long ago.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, it's her. This is great. This is good. It's fine. This is a good... I'm stuck at my parents' house watching something on-demand movie.
That pans out occasionally.
Yeah.
Like that gray man movie we watched.
Yeah. I don't think so. Did you see the way she looked at me? She's probably just on something, isn't everyone? No, she doesn't do stuff like that.
See?
Well, maybe she does. You never know, people.
That's also true.
Sometimes you leave for 3 years and somebody smokes regular cigarettes, and this is just as bad. Well,
but Leo sees her more regularly than we do.
Yeah. I'm enjoying. I'm having the idea that fucking Chase is like sometimes you just think you know somebody and then they smoke cigarettes and
oh gosh, my whole perception of them changed
because your house stinks now.
Because I'm in the DARE program and I vilify people that smoke cigarettes because they taught me to hate people that smoke, even though they're just people trying to get by in their life.
That's what Christian organizations do.
Yep.
That's their only verb is
alcohol, cigarettes,
damnation,
Mary J. Those are all signs
premarital
of an
sex.
Unethical person.
Dare wouldn't like his search history either. Again, Leo doesn't say anything, and neither does anyone else. We don't go back. I fucking told you.
Why you unbutton so many of your buttons there, Flynn? All the time. All of you unbutton half your fucking buttons.
He's got to show off his markings.
Yeah, that's fucking... You're asking for... I don't know. You're just flexing or something.
Yes. Absolutely. Because he was gonna see Carl.
Carl.
I gotta say, that shirt has an annoying number of buttons. I would give up halfway up too. Think about how many buttons shirts have. That's like absurd. That's exhausting.
Just button like...
It's annoying.
Just button like the middle four.
The middle four?
Call it a day.
Just button every other one.
Sure.
Leo stabs the doorbell again, frustration etched across his face. I shift the bag I'm carrying around in my paws, trying to look through the frosted glass on the sides of the door. Maybe he's getting high?
He should still be able to hear.
I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to. TJ holds up his phone. He's not answering his phone either. Leo knocks on the door hard, his bicep bulging. Well,
I guess breaking the door might get us inside.
Leo stands back, paws on his waist, and he takes a deep breath. Does the birthday not happen in the other timelines?
That's what I'm saying. Is like we're not around
Did they
to
literally
wake him up.
not successfully get him? Yeah, because they go too early. We weren't awake yet. And also, like, I don't know, don't throw someone a surprise party, like, ever. Like, unless, like, oh my god, I love these, for some reason, which is almost no one, I'm sure.
It's funny because the people who like surprise parties tell everyone they like surprise parties, so they know they're getting a surprise party.
Yeah.
That's like the joke, is they're always like,
but it's also like,
I really like surprise parties. Don't throw me a surprise party or anything, guys.
It's like a deluxe surprise party. It's like an ultra surprise because like it's not even his birthday, like even a little bit. It's like a month off or something.
Man, I'd be so.
It's so bad.
I would.
This would be so frustrating. I'd be like, I don't do well with like. I like day to day. I just have like a plan of what I think I'm gonna do in general, and don't do well with like changes of plan. An entire party about me is a lot to just not know is coming. No,
I have to like adjust my my social parameters to be able to compute with that, because that's gonna like fuck up my brain, because I have different modes I go in for different people, and if they're all in the same room, I'm gonna have a fucking really hard time, especially if I'm not ready for that. Yeah,
right now I'm thinking a bit about Amicus and Leo and what they have in common, and the way that they just
do shit.
Yeah, they just envision things will work out. And they just hope with all their heart that the thing that they want to happen will just work out.
I had good intentions, but I didn't think out anything.
Yeah, and they just dive in, and they just think the universe will align. And in Amicus's case, it was partly because he was the Emperor's son. And
kind of spoiled.
He had a super pampered life, basically. And so he's kind of used to stuff just kind of working out. And in that game, like, the whole premise is, like, his dad's dead, and everything's kind of going to shit. And it's the game where every single step of the way, something goes wrong. And Leo is just, I don't know, I guess he just built this trip up so hard that he, like,
it's gonna fix everything. We're all gonna be friends again. We're all gonna get over our trauma. And, like, Chase is gonna fall in love with me again. I have all these goals.
Yeah, like, he's been struggling for, like, years about this, and he's been obsessing over... Probably the moment he heard about this plan, he thought about all the ways that it would fix all of their relationships, and everything would go back to normal, and he'd finally get what he wanted. And, no. Just no. Not at all. Not even a little bit. No, it's not going to happen. Sorry, Leo. Don't throw people surprise parties.
It's kind of rude, honestly.
Red flags.
Yeah, add that to the list. Keith, I love you. Don't stand outside my door in the middle of the night or my window, like I said.
That would be impressive.
Don't throw me a surprise party.
It'd be very impressive to scare you from outside your window, given the entire nature of the line of sight of your window.
Because we're on the second story.
It's a second story, and there's like no... You can't even see our backyard, basically.
No.
like there's... Where would I be standing?
You can see the street. You could stand on the street on the other side of the wall. Yeah. Like 100 feet away. That'd be hella creepy.
That would be pretty creepy if I just stand way out in the middle of nowhere and just stare at your window for like hours. Is that
fucking Keith?
I just stare at your window for hours waiting for you to finally look.
Keith, are you okay?
It takes you 3 days to look.
Keith, are you okay? Are you peeing on the side of the road?
It's really stupid. Leo stands back, paws on his waist as he takes a deep breath. He's determined. And I guess he should be, considering he set all this up himself. We should have just told him to meet us at the diner or something. Do they lock their windows?
Oh my gosh, Leo, no.
What? Leo growls. It's not like we're breaking in.
Yes,
it's just like that you're literally breaking in. TJ's ears pin back, a frown on his face. The wolf puts up a paw to his forehead, closing his eyes. Sorry, but I think he's just asleep, and it shouldn't be too hard to just get in there and wake him up. People love surprise people being in their house that weren't supposed to be in their house.
Oh god.
That's a good surprise.
That's how you get shot.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
You know what's worse than standing outside the window is standing inside the window.
Oh god, no. No. No.
Stephanie, Grandma's here.
Oh my gosh, my grandma would. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dude, she scared the fuck out of me once because I saw her car in the driveway, and I went inside the house and I was like, Grandma, are you in here? And I heard nothing. I saw nothing, so I checked the fucking closets. I checked every room.
She tried to pretend she wasn't there.
And then she snuck out. I think she was in the house, and then I think she snuck out before I caught her, and she drove off. But I was like, Grandma? And then I went through each room, and I looked for her, and then I looked in the closets, because I was like, dude, she's fucking hiding. because she's not answering me, and I know she's in the house. But then I looked outside, and the car was gone. And the door was unlocked, and I'm like, my grandma snuck out.
Your grandma behaved exactly like grandmas in horror movies do.
No, that's why
when
it's
they're like
funny.
possessed or something.
Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna go into it, but like she was always like, don't watch Flowers in the Attic, and I'm like, oh, you mean that movie where the grandma puts her grandkids in the attic and then poisons them with cookies?
Oh,
because that's a movie, by the way. If you guys don't know that movie, my grandma brought that movie up a lot.
That's
like she's like he like. I made cookies. Don't watch Flowers in the Attic. Haha, it's funny.
She was practicing.
That would be more funny if you weren't like kind of scary.
Yeah, she was practicing all of her break-ins so that one day she could just start slipping arsenic into your food.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens in Flowers in the Attic. She poisons the cookies, then she puts all the kids upstairs and starves them to death in the attic. Anyways, sorry guys. A little back.
And that's what we're gonna do to Carl now. Let's go.
A little backstory on Stephanie's life here.
I look over at the side of the house and see a window well. Right, we discussed this, the confusing thing. That goes down to the scary basement. Don't go down there. I point at it.
Looks like we're going down there.
What about that? Too small.
Yeah, look how beefy Leo is. I could probably fit.
I'll go in a scary basement.
She takes it as a challenge because Leo, because it was brought up and Leo's here. She's flexing again.
She hops off the front porch and crouches down next to the window, pushing at it.
Wait. There's a security sticker here.
Well, you gotta arm it first, and Carl's such a lazy ass, I know he didn't. Besides, if we set it off, we can just run. It's not like they'll show up anytime soon.
Or instead of acting like criminals, we can just stay until a cop shows up. She knows us.
Jenna hesitates, then pushes the window again, but it doesn't budge.
Locked.
Let's try the one above it.
And that's too high.
I'll boost you up. I think this is going a little too far. Leo ignores him and stands next to the window before making a platform for Jenna's foot with his paws. Steadying herself with her paws against the wall of the house, Leo easily lifts Jenna and she manages to grab the ledge. Fucking hell, this is so fucking stupid. Flynn mutters next to me, but I make a point of not looking over at him. I feel for Leo. He worked hard to make this happen, and everyone's giving him a hard time over it. Jenna pushes against the window and it glides open easily. Yes, now I'm gonna boost you all the way up. Hold on.
Careful.
Like there's some kind of cheerleading duo, Leo shoves Jenna all the way up with one paw, and she disappears through the window. Her bushed tail is the last thing we see, until she pokes her head back through.
Kitchen. I fell in the sink.
Great. Now unlock the door. She disappears again, and we make our way back to the front door. Leo, you're fucking crazy. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, Flynn, I'll kick you right in your vagina. Sound good? Jesus, calm your... Leo turns on him, one foot in front of the other. Flynn shuts up then, and me and TJ are left to shift around uncomfortably on the porch. Well. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
This day is such a disaster in every timeline, apparently.
Poor Carl.
I'm just gonna regret the start of Wednesday every day. That's just gonna happen every playthrough. We're like, no, it's Wednesday!
We're basically just using Carl against his will as, like, a conduit for us bonding, which he's not consenting to.
This highlights even worse just how bad Leo just isn't so much thinking about Carl as much as just like he just needs this to be the thing.
I just need to bond.
And like the moment things are going wrong, he's like National Lampoon Vacationing in it, where he's just like losing his fucking mind by the end and stuff, and just nothing's going right, and he's just like, we're having fun now at the theme park. And it's like, what is your goal? Like, what is all this escalation supposed to accomplish? There's so many other ways you can just enjoy a day by just pivoting. Like, I get it. It's deeply stressful to be at the center of a plan involving other people, and then stuff stops going right, and then but like at that point you just like I'm like the first to be like, you know what? New thing. I give up.
That's like
Let's go to a restaurant or whatever the fuck.
That you bring up Family Vacation, because that is like the perfect example. Because it's like a person with good intentions at the beginning of the movie, but like halfway through he becomes like the villain of the entire film, because nobody at this point wants to do this anymore, and he's forcing everyone like miserably, and just drags them through the rest of the movie, and then holds a guy at gunpoint so they can ride the rides at Wally World because it's closed when they fucking get there, which is so funny. I hate Chevy Chase, but I like that bit a lot. Mm-hmm. But that is definitely this, where it's like things didn't go right, and instead of just like, you know, consolidating your losses and just being like, all right, like we can do something else, or, you know, like let's quit while we're behind. We're like, no, we're gonna force our way through this day and we're all gonna be happy. But that never actually works. You can't like go at it from that angle.
Yep. Finally, we hear the door rattling and it opens.
Called his name, but he didn't answer.
Well, it's gotta be here. It's not like it can go anywhere, or would want to. Carl's house is as massive and immaculate as I remember it. It is a mansion after all. There are a few bowls and wrappers lying around on the marble counters. I assume that's because Carl's parents aren't here to tell him not to be a slob. Flynn immediately heads up the stairs. Yo, Carl! I set the bag down on the table, and TJ sets the cake there too. I look over at him. You alright? Yeah, why? Just asking. How was your hike with Jenna? Alright. Wish you were there too. Yeah, me too. I might go again in a day or two if you'd like. Sure, why not?
We're gonna disappoint him again.
Are we? Yeah, we're just gonna keep disappointing him over and over again until the TJ route, where we disappoint him most of all.
Oh, probably.
I promised myself that wasn't an empty promise. But it was!
My promise to myself was also an empty promise. And thus, that was an empty promise.
Well, he's not in his room. Flynn actually looks a little worried now.
Maybe he went for a walk?
Carl? Walking? In this weather? Hell no. Does he have other friends? Maybe he went out somewhere.
Does he have other friends?
I don't think so. I'm his world.
He better not have any other friends.
I'll find them. Well, let's do a quick sweep of the house. It's a big place. Is he sleepwalking?
Is he in the fucking basement?
Is he dead?
In the basement?
Flynn heads back upstairs, and Leo heads for the downstairs with Jenna. There's just every now and then there's just enough typos to throw me off where I'm like, am I misreading it, or is it miswriting it?
Is it misreading me?
TJ looks around the kitchen, then moves over to the living room, checking the couches. I decide to head out back, if not just to get away from the others, since things feel unusually tense between us today. Good start to a birthday. As I step out into the backyard, I'm a little surprised. It's different from when I was last here. The playset is gone, and so is the massive trampoline they used to have. The biggest shock, though, is seeing that the huge tree house that used to sit in the old oak tree is gone. I stand there for a moment, feeling a vague sense of loss. I have too many good memories of that place. Time moves too fucking fast. Dude, it's weird moving out of a town that you grew up in and then just going back like a year later and you're like, how did so much change? What the fuck?
I went back to my hometown to visit my friends from high school not too long ago, and like I was killing time waiting for them to be ready or whatever. So I went to go stop by the mall, and I like saw my old place of work, which was a Sears. It was all boarded up and closed and bankrupt. There's a big sign on the front being like, "We're closed forever," like this and that. I was like, oh, how weird. It's like there's still bullet holes in in the window where we had like a shooting once. But no, and looking at the mall being all dilapidated, and I don't know. Yeah. It's fun. It's interesting to go back and see. And it's like, oh well, that neighborhood's nice now. It's like, oh, that wasn't there before. It's like, oh, this is worse than it used to be.
I just think about it's like when what is it? I went to the I visited one of my teachers when they were on strike, like a year after I graduated high school, and the entire high school had been like revamped since I was gone, like immediately. And I also like we had to cross a railroad track in order to get to school because they were busing us in from a different town. Like it was a weird in between towns Air Force Base school that was outside of the Air Force Base, so it took in students from the Air Force Base and the neighboring parts of the two other towns. And you would just miss the first class of the day on a regular basis because if there was a train coming by and they started doing that shit where they like go back and forth to like change like what they're carrying or whatever the hell, like that would just like the railroad thing would just be down for like half an hour, and you would just sit there on the bus just kind of miserable, just waiting in traffic forever. And on top of this, after the railroad crossing was a left turn that wasn't a light.
And you're a bus.
So all oncoming traffic, you had to wait for someone to let you in because there was just an infinite train of cars and you could only get in when somebody let you in, and it was just a nightmare. So you just miss your first class of the day every now and then because like,
at least you were on the bus, so it's like they can't say anything to you about it because it's like if you were driven to school, then you could be blamed, like, you know, like it was something like it's your fault. But it's like you're on the bus with everyone else, like you have witnesses proving that it was not your fault that this happened. Yeah,
but after I moved out for my waterboard job and so on and started YouTube and stuff,
you still waterboard people, Keith?
Yeah, that's exactly what that means. I was visiting home and I drove through for the back roads for some reason on the way to something, and like. They built a whole fucking overpass. There's the whole like that. This is like a not interesting thing to say, I guess, but when you see it in person, it was a completely flat area with just a 2-lane road, one going each way. Like it was a nothing underdeveloped place that was a nightmare for traffic and so on. So one day I'm driving down this road and ahead of me is just like the horizon is blocked by the road just rising up because there's just an overpass now, and just how surreal that change to landscape is after seeing that one place every single day for like 6 years, because my middle school and high school were both there. It's just like a very strange, like the moment you're gone, things change out of spite, basically.
It's like it's like
every place you had a birthday is closed now. Fuck you.
They got rid of the arcade I liked when I was younger.
Yeah, the laser tag place is gone. Got rid of the
carousel in the mall. But it's like you see every once in a while you're like, oh wow, that's nice. What a nice new thing they have that I didn't get to have.
So I'm not bitter. You're
nice overpass.
Well, I've got student loans, so.
And you've got an overpass.
That's really stupid. After a while, I remember why I'm here and look around again. No Carl, of course. But I start walking around anyway, looking behind bushes, even though I know it's stupid. Is Duke gonna be here? Is that still gonna happen? Because now I'm like looking around outside.
You're right. I am curious about that.
While I felt for Leo, I can still see where Flynn was coming from. It would have been a way better idea to warn Carl, or just meet up somewhere else. Leo just gets carried away a little when he has his heart set on something. He probably had the whole scene planned out in his head before we even got here. Mostly, I just felt really bad for him. He's been working really hard to make this trip interesting for all of us. I think it's our fault more than anything that nothing's working out. Flynn's a dick, Carl doesn't care, Jenna's also kind of being a dick, and TJ is always into stuff that none of us are. Alright.
Like polo shirts.
That's his entire thing. And I'm just boring. Yeah, that's somehow ruining the plans. Weird self-hate insert moment. As I round the corner of the house, I'm surprised to see Flynn standing there. He must have come out the front door. Oh. Hey, Flynn. I thought you were upstairs. Flynn doesn't seem surprised at all to find me out here, which makes me think he was looking for me. I did. Wasn't there, so I thought I'd look outside. Oh, well, he's not in the back, so I don't know why, but Flynn is making me feel awkward as hell.
I feel like being alone with him would just make anyone feel awkward. Because he's just one of those people that can be so blunt that it's cruel.
Yeah.
And I feel like being with him for too long, like, I'd be worried. He's gonna say something. It's gonna hurt my feelings.
There's like a kind of person that puts you on edge. You're just like, all right, here we go. What's it gonna be this time?
How do I get through this conversation without like having some horrible thing happen?
Is something wrong? Flynn folds his arms and leans up against the house. Well, Carl's missing, so I guess that's a problem, huh? Yeah. I try to think of something to say. Well, I'm sure he's just hiding somewhere, or maybe he's out at the diner? Probably just got tired of being stuck in his own house. Yeah. He straightens up again and steps forward, and I don't know why, but I take a step back. You were hanging out with Leo yesterday, right? Yeah, for a little while. You spent the night there? I pause for a second to give him the hint that I'm not exactly okay with him prying like this, but I answer anyway. No, I got back to the motel at like 3. Huh. Yeah. I start to turn back around. Hey, why don't we check the basement? Chase. He's got the same tone as a disappointed parent, and that kind of pisses me off. I turn back around. What? You realize what you're doing is stupid, right? Excuse me? Getting back with him during fucking spring break. Pretty stupid, right? I had a feeling that's where this was going. And now that I know for sure, I'm definitely pissed off now. How is that any of your business? How is it not? You two seem pretty okay with making it our business, right? No? He sneers at me. Cuddling up at the lake where our friend died is pretty messed up, isn't it? What? I saw you two, you know I did. So what? What does it have to do with Sydney? I guess I just find it weird that you'd start up your old flame on what's basically a grave. What the hell are you talking about? Feelings changed from anger to bewilderment. I did know what he was talking about, I just didn't know why. Well, since it's all out in the open now, why not talk about it? You're the one that put it out in the open. In the worst way possible, by the way. His sneer disappears. I just don't get why you're connecting those two things. We weren't even talking about Sydney. How? What else does that lake make you think of? I'm at a loss for words, totally confused. This is Flynn. I never talked about Sydney with him after it happened. I was too scared to. Well, I don't think of it as his grave or anything. Oh, really? It's just a fucking lake to you then, huh? He didn't die there, Flynn. It was in the hospital. It might as well have been there, right? I swallow hard, wanting desperately to get back inside. Let's not talk about this right now. Oh, I guess I was confused. Everyone's been telling me that I need to talk about it.
Oh, not like this. Oh, gosh.
Why is he so good at writing arguments?
This is so stressful to me. I know, people like this make me so stressed.
Well, not like this. Not with just me here. We should all be together if we want to have this talk. I turn around again, making it clear that I'm leaving. Wait. The change of tone in his voice makes me turn around again. It's softer. Almost pleading. I'm not used to hearing Flynn talk like this. I'm just trying to look out for you, Chase. He's not...
Oh, he's trying to warn us of all those red flags that we're ignoring.
I feel some of that anger returning. He's not what? Well, he's not exactly a stable guy, is he? I laugh. And you are? He dips his head, and I can tell he's embarrassed, even though he doesn't have the ears to tell me so. I mean, he has a face, Chase. It's really fixated on ears, which are the thing that only, I guess half of them can use to express themselves, but only half.
Yeah, this seems kind of a speciesist.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, I don't. How are you feeling? I can't tell.
I can't tell because you're a lizard
fuck.
with no facial expressions, obviously. And not just you, all of us. We're all a little fucking crazy, aren't we? Flynn smiles a little bit. Well, that's what happens when you live in Echo. That's what all the kids at school said. Flynn frowns again. Listen, I'm just looking out for you. He's just
a psychopath.
I sigh loudly and cover my face with a paw for a second. I was hoping I'd be able to change the subject, but now we're back to Leo. I'm surprised when I lower my paw and Flynn is just a few feet away. Just like weeping angel jump scares you. Flynn, just drop it. It's none of your business. His gaze hardens. I think it is when I see a friend taking advantage of another friend. Taking advantage of me? Yeah. Has been since you were fucking 15. I immediately know what he's implying. Fuck off, Flynn. You're acting like my fucking parent. He takes another step forward and I back away. But he angles it so that I'm pressed against the house. I get the urge to run away, but I feel like doing that will only affirm how much this has escalated. There's a change in him as well. Something unfamiliar in his eyes, in his stance, in his voice, even. He leans down to my height. Like playing with fire, huh? You've seen it in his eyes. He's fucking crazy. He pokes me in the chest to emphasize his words. Crazy? Kind of like you are right now? Flynn pulls away, straightening his back, but still looking down at me. Yeah? Well, maybe I am. The awkward silence stretches out, seems to go on until... You know what? I think... Chase. Both of our muzzles flick in the direction of Leo's voice. Mine to the right, Flynn's to his left. Leo stands there, ears perked forward, though his expression seems neutral. I wonder how long he's been standing there. I can tell Flynn's wondering the same thing. Any sign of him? No. I slide out from under Flynn, making my way towards Leo. I check the back, but I didn't see him anywhere. Leo doesn't even look at me, staring over the top of my head. I look and see Flynn staring right back, his shoulders still tensed. That's when I feel Leo's heavy, strong arm drape over my shoulders. Flynn's eyes narrow. Let's get back inside then. As Leo leads me away, I get the feeling that he's still staring Flynn down, even though I don't look up to check. Jesus Christ. I want a vacation from this vacation.
Yeah, this is the least vacation. This is like once again, like Vacation, like that movie we were talking about. This is a very stressful vacation. Everything's bad.
I knew it from the argument in Ad Astra, but it's definitely getting affirmed further than like he's really good at writing arguments. They get really uncomfortable and honest real fast. You're like, oh boy, I need to. Well, look at the time. I left the stove on in my garage. Bye.
I feel like his dialogue between individuals is really natural. Like, I mean, not even just arguments, but just like in general, like them speaking to each other comes off like very natural.
It is so much work. I've been trying to write a thing just for fun lately, and like dialogue between characters with different personalities and trying to make them actually feel like their personalities consistently is like really fucking hard. And then like going through these different types of conversations, it's just a skill check.
Well, it's like you can't like leak your own feelings or perceptions into it, so you have to be completely neutral and step away from the characters you've created enough to like make ones that are so different from yourself that you can write like them.
You have to like make nuanced characters that resemble real people in your life and not just like one guy who's obviously always right and one guy that's always obviously wrong. There's like just a weird shitty straw man for your self-insert character or something. Like, it's so much work. Did they fucking find Carl?
Yeah, where the fuck's Carl? He is in the basement. He's got to be in the basement.